most people know that they want. Few people know what they want, and very few people know how to get it. How to get it. I think this is what morality is. It's our attempt to figure out how do we get what we want. What kind of habits do we need to have in order to more eloquently put it, pursue our own convictions, to make sure that we're in tip-top shape as we want to be. I don't think morality is a tool to control others. I think it's a tool to control, period. And depending on what we want, we will use that control in different ways. Someone that wants to be wholly altruistic, let's say, discipline themselves to be not controlling of others, but helpful to others. They're going to control themselves. They're going to say, okay, this is what you need to do. They're going to be talking to themselves this way. This is how you need to think if you want to do this. And they'll psych themselves into it. And that's basically how I think people like that will act. They're going to come up with a way that they think that they should act if they want to be good to others. Now, the way that you're framing morality is on the other side of that. It's the people that want something different. They want control, or they want the world to be as they want it to be, rather than them wanting themselves being how they want to be. And so they will use this tool of control to outside of themselves. They'll try to exert their control outside of themselves. Now, this is a development of a very long comment that I left on TJ's on your Facebook post, and I guess I'll read it here because more people will there'll be a more open response to your stuff. Okay, so TJ, what if the purpose of my code, like I said, was to most efficiently defend my own convictions? Example, what behavioral trends can I follow if I want to best treat myself and others? This is a code of conduct that I am personally exploring and developing every day of my life and is not meant to subjugate. For me, objectivity, because in this specific post we're talking about a response, someone who made a response that is arguing about objective morality. And TJ says that objective morality, if it exists, would merely be the perfect way to subjugate others. This is merely developing what you're framing to be morality, which I'm going to get to later. Okay, so for me, objectivity would mean to know absolutely what all the repercussions of my actions would be down to the smallest intricacy. I would then be able to play a perfect game of chess, if you will, and be able to perform according to what I see as right, altruism, knowledge, etc., in the best and most efficient possible manner. This is kind of like, on the side, this is kind of like being knowledgeable of the domino effect to its complete intricacies of the world around us, to understand if I do this, what's everything that's going to happen, so I can finally know how to perfectly act to get what I want. And now if I'm noble, if I want to be altruistic, perfectly altruistic, to not only want to do good, mean to do good, and do things that stem from a goodwill, but to actually do that plus have no chance of screwing up, or having as little chance as you could to screw up, and for something negative to, even by hazard, come from your good intentions. Just, there's the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So objectivity would get rid of that. Get rid of that pretty much. It's really just just the knowledge to the complete end, like to play a perfect game of chess. Like I said. Okay, so now about your framing of morality. Your framing of morality as a control mechanism is limited in the sense that you stop short at identifying it according to what it is most obviously used for. Kind of like to make a global evaluation of everyone, saying, oh, well, everyone needs to abide like this. Everyone, this is right and this is wrong, rather than saying, what I did was wrong, and judging themselves. People very much, I agree, people will tend to project morality and say, that's right, that's wrong. And I personally think that that's not where we should be going. If you're too busy projecting morality, I think you kind of lose grasp of your own self. People should be checking themselves up, should be evaluating themselves rather than evaluating everyone else. There's the other saying that you should remove the prick or the stick or the spear, can't even remember what it is, in your own eye before trying to get it out of someone else. So I think that's where we should gear morality. So you're basically, okay, so your framing of morality as a control mechanism is limited, because you stop short identifying it according to what is most obviously used for, a tool of control. But just as much as a hammer and a nail, or a screwdriver or a knife is a tool of control, it is a tool of control. Because it is really a tool that is used by us to serve our own interests. It's not just a tool to control others. It is a tool of control, like those things I said, but you can use those for anything you want. You can use it to control others if that is what you're interested in, but you can also use it to control yourself. And if you're interested in being as altruistic as you can use it exclusively on yourself, to possess a moral code that excludes your responsibility over other people's actions and instead only focus on what you can do with your own self to improve your life and those around you. But there's a problem that comes from this. There will always be those that say that they are doing this, or that think that they're doing this, while killing and subjugating others, for example. That they are killing so and doing so for the good of everyone, etc. This is because altruism itself is also up in the air, just as morality is. A person thinking he is doing good for his fellow by throwing away all his booze, for example, might be committing a heinous act of theft in someone else's eyes and someone else's sense of what altruism is, what doing good to others is. So the moment we throw away morality by framing it as something that's used to control, we come up with another problem, altruism. What is altruism? We end up with the same problem that morality was. It was merely a label that we were pinning a certain way of practicing what we think is right and wrong. Then we come up with the problem where, oh, well, people have different ideas of what altruism is and have different ideas about how we can be altruistic. And in the end, it's merely morality under a different label. We'll throw away altruism and say, okay, well, let's try something else. Moralness, or moral likeness, or whatever else. So I think we should be looking at this in a broader sense, rather than trying to peg morality down as a tool that can be only used in one way. And we should actually try to wield it properly, rather than completely blaming it for all of our problems. It's like how, let's say, it's like back, it's kind of like that old elementary school thing that's coming back with terrorism in airplanes. The moment one person in elementary school, did something wrong, let's say, tried to hit someone else with a pencil, or whatever, did something wrong, that thing was, the object that he used was banned, and no one could use it. That's commonly what happened. It's the same thing that's happening with airplanes and terrorism. Instead of banning something that is used for wrong, we should be learning how to use it for good. And my 10 minutes are up.